UFC Atlantic City showed us many different ways that a fight could potentially end, but the weirdest of which probably came in our lock of the night play, which was able to cash, thankfully, as Andre Petrosky pretty much knocks himself out going for a takedown against Jacob Malkoun as he collided with the hip bone of Malkoun and eventually was put off balance, and we saw Malkoun follow up with some big shots, and the referee was forced to step in and stop that fight. So good win for Malkoun, and I'll take any of those dubs that we can get in those unfortunate and weird circumstances. Obviously, there's sometimes where we don't get the bounce in certain split decisions or robberies or anything like that. Weird knockout scenarios in reverse as well. It absolutely happens in the game of MMA. So when we are the ones lucky to get the bounce here, I'm more than happy to take the dub here. So Jacob Malkoun cashes for us at minus 230 and comes through. Well, officially I had him at minus 210. Again, when I put these videos out, I put the odds that the odds are currently at when I make the video, but sometimes the odds are slightly shifted, maybe better, maybe worse from when I actually made the bet myself, tracked it, made it official, made my bet myself. And in this case, it was about 20 cents better at Malkoun at minus 210, and he comes through for us. Like I said, very weird circumstances, but happy to take the dub when we are able to get it. Now, I just want to add some cool little graphics for this show moving forward, especially the Dog of the Night candidates as well, specifically where we can see how the weekend was this past weekend, and then obviously the overall year progress that we have as well. So this past weekend, clean sweep over the 4 events that we had, not just with the UFC, but the 3 regional shows as well. We go 4-0, like I said, for plus 10.84 units and 54% ROI. And then that brings our year record now to 22-12 for minus 4.83 units and minus 3% ROI. Again, we had a rough start to the year. I think even last week we were down about minus 15 units. I think the week prior to that we're about minus 20 units. So we can get right back into the swing of things. We had a very successful 2023 campaign in terms of the lock of the night plays, and I know if we just stick to the script, stick to just continuing and trusting the reads and knowing where to go big on most of these matchups, even if it means that we have to eat some chalk like we'll see for this upcoming card that I'm going to be talking about, the 3 candidates. Pick the safest spots that you feel are most easy to cash, and we'll get back into the winning ways just as we did this past weekend. And hopefully this coming weekend, if we go 5-0 on Lock of the Night plays, there's 5 total events across the board, we'll definitely be back in the green and hopefully in a solid spot to continue to build upon that. I believe my goal was to hit 50 units of profit for Lock of the Night plays strictly. So we'll see if we can eclipse that, but it's slow and steady, brick by brick. We'll eventually get there. All right, let's talk about the 3 Lock of the Night candidates that I have for this week. And actually, just quickly saying, PFL goes down on Thursday. I'll have a full card breakdown for you guys later today. So if you guys are watching this on Wednesday evening, the PFL breakdown will be out by the time in the next couple hours. I have a few more fights that I need to research, but I wanted to get this out for you guys ASAP. I'll also have the top 3 Dog of the Night candidate video drop later on this evening as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But if you're looking for PFL, I promise you it will be out tonight, so you guys can keep your eyes peeled for that. And I know you guys really appreciate the PFL breakdown, so I'm trying to get it out for you guys as soon as I possibly can while doing my due diligence with the researching for every single matchup. All right. A ton of other regional MMA events going down this week, and if you want access to that, check out the Lock of the Night Patreon page. Links for those are in the description below. We have PFL, like I said, which we'll obviously be able to break down for free for you guys tomorrow. But we also have LFA, KSW, and Cage Warriors. All those breakdowns will be on the Patreon page. Check that out. All right. No more jibber jabber. Let's get right to the top 3 Lock of the Night candidates. And as I spoke about in the recap segment, going to be some chalk this weekend. There aren't a lot of spots that I feel really good about besides the Lock of the Night play that I ended up going with, and it might end up being a little bit more chalk than people are used to playing, but the point of the Lock of the Night play is to either play it straight if you want, or if you want to parlay it, which is still still in a way playing it straight, but with less risk since you're not attaching it to something else. But the whole point of the Lock of the Night play is to be as accurate as possible and hit as often as possible on these spots, and at some points, some weeks, it calls to eat some chalk, and I think that's what we're going to have to do this week to be able to come out unscathed from this UFC card with a dub on the Lock of the Night play. So The first candidate I have up for you guys is going to be Melissa Mullins, coming in at minus 350 as she takes on Nora Cornolle. Now, both these fighters have one fight in the UFC, but I believe Mullins was way more impressive what she was able to do against Irina Alekseeva, whereas Cornolle had a very close fight against Jocelyn Edwards and showcased the weaknesses that Mullins should be able to take advantage of. Mullins is very nasty when she's able to get the fight to the ground, and although she leaves some openings in the striking realm that gets her beat on, touched up a little bit and bloodied, she has great durability and should be able to take whatever Cornolle throws at her and then eventually parlay that into takedowns and then absolutely smash her from that top position. Seeing the positions that Jocelyn Edwards was able to get against Nora, it really makes me believe that Mullins should be able to get those positions even easier, but be even more ruthless in those spots and potentially even get a finish. So taking Cornolle as a potential lock of the night play, not a bad idea, and even sprinkling her inside the distance prop, I think would bear some serious fruit here. So let's check out the second lock of the night candidate I have for you guys, and it's going to be Alex Morono, coming in at minus 290 as he takes on a 40 or near 40-year-old veteran Court McGee. Now, in the past, McGee has largely relied on his durability to cross the pocket and get his clinching style going, but he's coming off of 2 straight knockout losses, and it could be a third this weekend as Morono has some deceiving power, but it's really his ability to break his opponents with pressure, volume, and output. And I think that's going to cause McGee some issues here. McGee might have some success in the clinch and grappling realm, but I think that the BJJ black belt of Morono will allow him to stay out of those bad positions. And even though he didn't look the greatest in the Buckley fight, he doesn't have to worry about somebody having a massive physicality and power and explosiveness advantage like Buckley had in that matchup. Look for Morono to slowly chip away at McGee and potentially find a finish by knockout in the second or third round. Possible club and sub is on the table as well, considering the black belt that Morono brings to the table. All right, the third and final lock of the night candidate is going to be Ignacio Bahamondes, who comes in at minus 330 against Christos Yagos. Now, there is the early threat from Yagos, as he showcased against Ricky Glenn, where he's trusting his hands a little bit more and looking to knock people out. He even clipped Daniel Zellhuber in the first round of their matchup, but was unable to close the show, and that's where we saw his style really come back to bite him in the ass. He likes to go out there and try to take opponents to the ground and grind them out, but often he starts to slow down in the second and third rounds, which is where opponents are able to take over and eventually finish him. I think we'll see Bahamondes tread lightly in the first round, but chip away at the body of Yagos and slow him down, and then eventually open up finishing opportunities for him in the second and third rounds, where you'll have the far superior gas tank, good enough takedown defense later on in this matchup against a guy who normally slows down in Yagos, and I think causing Yagos to work as much as Bahamondes will make him will eventually allow Bahamondes to knock him out probably in the second or third round. I don't mind the chalk here on Bahamondes, and I will say this: there is a not too shabby head spot here, as you can roughly get the Yagos round 1 KO prop around plus 1700 to plus 1800, which is worth a bit of a stab if you end up investing on Bahamondes this weekend. There you guys go. Top 3 lock of the night candidates for UFC Vegas 90. Hopefully we can keep this train of solid lock of the night plays rolling and cash another ticket for you guys. Again, later today, the PFL full card breakdown will drop for you guys, and also keep your eyes peeled for the top 3 dog of the night candidates for UFC Vegas 90. I'll see you guys later today. Peace.